So, welcome to Prosper from Your Passion. And I'm going to do my very best in the next hour to share with you what I believe are the most important realizations and the most important, I call them the cheat codes to life. The most important things that we need to understand in order to create a life where we are experiencing our passions, our purpose, where we're connected to the true essence of what we're here to experience. And importantly, find the overlap between how do we do all that and earn a living at the same time. So let me know if that resonates. Let me know if that sounds like that would be a worthwhile use of the next hour for us to explore. How do we create a deeper level of alignment between what we're born to do, what we're here to do, and how that translates to our professional life, our work, what we actually contribute, what we give to the world. So just let me know if that resonates. And because I want to make sure that that resonates, because I want to make sure that we're all here in the right space and that we've all got a similar common core or a common theme for what we're looking to achieve together. So just let me know if that resonates at all. I love to hear. Yeah, nice one, Heidi. Thank you. Absolutely. We're looking here for the deepest level of alignment. So as we go through, feel free to drop any questions in here. And if we've got time at the end, I'm happy to answer the questions. Nice one, Karina. Come at a perfect time for me as I haven't really found my true passion. Well, that's perfect, because what we're going to cover today is a process about how you can tap into that. So here's what we're going to cover today on the training. And we're going to cover the three core elements. We're going to cover how do you get clarity on, how do you find your purpose? How do you find what your passions are? And how do you find the overlapping point in which you can actually experience all of them together? That's the ideal sweet spot in life. We're also going to cover how do you actually create confidence? And I'm going to share with you a concept that I discovered called mental installations, which really are one of the major cheat codes to life for how to actually go from stuck to being confident at pretty much anything in life without needing to spend years of study. It's a real cheat code to life. And then the third aspect is we're going to be covering creating some breakthroughs. So there'll be an opportunity for you guys to actually plug in one of your life's biggest challenges, and we can kind of crush it. We can kind of break through it in the call. So that's what we've got coming up in the rest of this call. And at the end of the call, I'll also be sharing my program, Project Genesis. If that's cool with you guys, I've got another intake of Project Limitless. We've just finished Project Genesis, which is my coach training program. What I'm going to be sharing with you at the end, for those that are interested, that want to stick around and find out more about Project Limitless, that's the project that is all about how do you actually create a passion and purpose-driven livelihood. So for those that are interested, feel free to stick around at the end, and I'll mention a little bit about that, because I know there's a lot of people that would be wanting to find out a little bit about that. So let's dive into this, guys. So let's look at the concept of the Ikigai. Now, I'm sure some of you guys have already seen this before. Can I just get a show of hands, or can I just see some comments to know if you have seen this concept before? How many of you have? Okay, cool. Thank you, Heidi. How many of you have either seen this before? And if you haven't seen it before, let me know as well. That's fine as well. I know a lot of, okay, great. So yes and no. It doesn't matter whether you've seen it before or not, but it was a beautiful concept. As soon as I saw this picture, I saw this picture 15 years ago. And as soon as I saw this diagram, I realized what I was searching for. I realized what I was actually looking for. And the whole time in my heart, I knew that there was something more for my life, but I didn't know what it was. And when I saw this picture, which is the Ikigai, which is a diagram, which is a visual representation of what the Japanese call your reason for being, I had this major realization that one of my major life's purposes was to discover what this is for myself. Now, what this is it's the combination or the overlap of everything that you love, which is the top section, everything that you are good at, or the things that you are good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. So this is the ultimate combination of your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. So this is a 4-dimensional model of creating a successful life. And when I saw this, I literally saw the code of the universe. I literally saw, wow, this is really what I was searching for. I'm going to suggest it's probably what deep down what everyone in life is searching for, but they probably just don't know that it exists, or they don't believe that it's possible. They haven't yet gotten clear on each of these dimensions. So just let me know if this is resonating, because you can kind of see that smack bang in the middle there is the ultimate alignment. It's what the Japanese call the ikigai. Now, when you're in the middle of that sweet spot, you are living the dream. Yeah, you're absolutely living the dream. Yeah, I'm glad that resonates, Karina, because this is the diagram of what is, like, it's a visual representation of when you're living your dream. All of these 4 dimensions, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical, they're all in alignment, and you're now following your true expression. You're connected to your inner guidance system, and you're now allowing the external and the internal success to match up. And so, yeah, this really defines the difference between the quality of your experience in your professional working life. So when I first started out working as an engineer, I was absolutely in something that I could get paid for, and something that I was good at. And it was probably also, I mean, definitely something the world needs. So I was in a combination of that spot down the bottom there, which is the section here. I'll see if I can highlight it for you. This section kind of about there. Let's go with that. So I was sort of around about, yeah, I was sort of in that spot here. I was sort of hovering around, profession, vocation. I didn't really love what I was doing. And I'm not sure whether you guys can relate to ever doing something that maybe you're good at, or that the world needs, and it's something you can be paid for. But you maybe not necessarily love it. Now, alternatively, you might be doing something that you love and that you're good at and that the world needs, but maybe you can't get paid for it. So it's basically like just volunteering. So wherever you're at, that's fine. I'd just love for you to drop in the comments below. Which section do you currently feel you fit in? Now, you might be in the middle already. You might have discovered your ikigai, but I'd just love for you to comment. Drop a comment in. Where do you feel like you are? Are you in the passion zone? Are you in the mission zone? Are you in the profession? Are you in vocation? I'd love to get some feedback as to where you feel you are. Yeah, and wherever you are at, that's fine. Remember, the whole point of this is life is a great game and an opportunity for us to constantly keep aligning, to keep moving forward, to constantly keep centering ourselves towards the bullseye. And so the great news about life is that it will keep giving us an infinite number of opportunities in order to discover that. That's awesome, Karina. That, like, the fact that you've got the awareness of that, and now that you can start to identify how to maybe start to orientate yourself towards the ikigai, that's like, there's real power in this. And I love that, Michelle, as well, part ikigai also. So sometimes you might wake up and you might feel like you're in the middle. Other days you might feel like you're a little bit off center, and that's okay as well. So sometimes there is a little bit of a transient sense, and sometimes we change as we go through our life as well. Nice one, Raj. Between passion and mission. Yeah, great. So all that would mean is, like, that means you're already connected to what you love and what you're good at and what the world needs, and you're looking to move more towards the economic prosperity zone, the part that you can get paid for. So this is, I trust that there's some insights here when you can locate where you are in this diagram, because if you can locate yourself, you can then give yourself a course correction. You can give yourself an adjustment. So awareness is always the first step of any transformation. So I trust this is resonating to begin with. So this is the starting point. So once you've located where you're at, you want to decide, well, where do you want to be? And okay, then that's okay if you can't locate yourself. But the starting point really is to identify, do you feel like you're in the middle? And if you're already in the middle, then great, keep going, keep doing what you're doing, and keep improving. If you're not in the middle, that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to explore the rest of this conversation today is going to be, how do we create greater alignment for what's heading towards what's in the middle. So the next slide here is, I'm going to show you there are 9 accelerators that everyone must learn in order to orientate themselves towards the middle of that. And they're really quite simple. But as with everything in life, simple is not always easy. It's simple, but it's not always easy. And I trust you guys can relate with, sometimes we know the simplest things in life, like we know what to do, but it's not necessarily easy to do. And so I'm going to go through the 9 accelerators of what's required to orientate yourself in the middle of the ikigai. And I'm going to start here with purpose. Now, purpose is, I would say, one of the most important drivers in life. Your purpose is the engine that you have. Your purpose is your core reason why you do anything. So your purpose is the source of motivation. So if you don't wake up every day with a sense of, or at least most of your life, with a sense of movement, with motivation, with a sense of inspiration for what you're wanting to create or express or be, I experienced this for probably the best part of my life. I woke up and I knew that there was a greater purpose for my life, but I didn't know what it was. So I was waking up every day kind of empty. And now that I've tapped into a purpose that's incredibly deep and resonant within me, I now wake up with a motivation, with a fire in my belly, without needing to try and motivate myself. I trust that resonates. When you tap into your purpose, you have a deeper level of inspiration that's operating at your core, rather than feeling like you've got to kind of pump yourself up and, rah, rah, and fist pump and try and put on some positive music to try and motivate you to get through the day. It now becomes a deeper part of your being that's just always switched on. So that's the aspect of purpose. So thanks, Michelle. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that resonates. And the next element here, number 2, is your vision. So your vision is, what's the direction that you're heading? So your purpose is more around what's the fire in the belly, what's the reason why you want to do something? What's your greater reason for being alive? What are you here for? Your vision is more about, what do you want to create? So your vision is more orientated towards around, if you could wave a magic wand and you can really craft and curate some kind of reality in your future, what are you looking to create? And your vision, as the name suggests, it is sight. It is, what can you see for yourself? Because if you don't have a vision for yourself, well, it's very difficult to have a compelling sense of, where are you going? What are you doing? And it's very similar to, imagine the metaphor of, if you're in a car, if you're in your car just driving around and you don't have a GPS destination about where you're going, well, you're going to be experiencing a dramatic sense of uncertainty, or just not really having clarity on where are you going. So absolutely, if you don't have purpose or vision, well, you're going to be literally driving around the block in your car, not really knowing where you're going, and just feeling maybe a little bit confused. Yeah. Nice one, Karina. So that's vision. And then the third element here is what's known as your values. Now, I know some of you have experienced uncovering what your values are before. And I'd love to know if any of you know what your values are. If you don't know what your values are as well, that's totally fine. Before I started getting into this, I had no idea what my values were. I thought I knew what they were. And as you start to explore your values are just simply your unconscious drivers. They are your deep unconscious preferences that are guiding all your decisions in life. And so if you don't have awareness of your values, well, it's like not really having a deeper level of self-awareness. And so your values give you, your values are your true north. Your values are the guiding inner force that is driving most of your decisions and your actions and your behaviors, and everything's coming from your values. So when you get clear on your values, which for most people, the values are completely unconscious, like out of conscious awareness. When you get clear on those, it's like you now get the roadmap. You can now uncover why you do what you do. And also when you're wanting to create change, you can now get the cheat codes for creating change. So your values are kind of like the deeper computer programming. It's like the deeper code behind the software running that. So let me know if that resonates and if that makes sense to you around your values being the deeper code, the deeper programming. And just let me know if this is resonating so far, because this is the structure for what everyone needs. And if you're missing any of these, it's not a problem. And if you're missing any of these, and we'll be able to reflect on these in a moment, but if you're missing any of these 9, It's not a problem. This is the perfect opportunity to enrich your life by focusing on some of these elements. So the next element here we've got, yeah, nice one. Raj, I'm glad it's resonating. And Michelle, yes, my values light me up. Well, I'm glad that you've got that level of awareness. So the next element here we've got is your goals. Now, your goals are just simply the tangible aspirations that you want to create in life. Now, when I say tangible, you might have some intangible goals, which I highly recommend as well. And the external goals, that's the impact that we create in the world, right? So let me know if you resonate with wanting to create a tangible impact, some kind of physical impact in the world. Now, what I mean by that is you might have a cause that you particularly care about. You might have a family that you want to look after. You might want to do travel. You might want to explore the world. You might want to have a whole lot of things you want to do in life, including build a home or literally start a charity, literally anything you can possibly conceive of. If you can write it down and if you can imagine it, well, you can create it. Yeah. And the thing about goals is the word goal here, another word, if you don't like the word goal, would be an intention. A goal is just an intention. So don't get too caught up with the idea of goals being something that's locked in and rigid and kind of almost intellectual. What we're really talking about here is the heart of the goal, which is the intention behind it. So the goal is just a physical manifestation, and the intention is the spiritual, energetic intention behind the goal. So I trust that kind of clarifies what I mean. So that is our goals, which is your intentions for what you want to experience. And then the next element here is, well, we've got to work out, well, why are we not experiencing our intentions? Why are we not experiencing living or creating and the tangible manifestation that we're actually setting our intention on? And the reason for that is number 5, which is we have limitations. Limitations are something that every human has. So don't worry here. There's nothing wrong with you if you recognize that you've got limitations. I've got them. You've got them. Tony Robbins has got them. Every single human on the planet has got limitations. And what are they made of? Well, they're classically made of things like fears. They're made of limiting beliefs. And they're also made of limitations. And I'll talk about the difference between some of these in a moment. And it's beautiful that we all have them because it's part of life. It's part of the spice of life. And one of the great games that we get to play in life is consciously deciding to move beyond our limitations. Absolutely, Karina. Yes, it's not a dirty word. It's just part of life. Like the reason why we've come into this human life is to experience limitation. At the ethereal realm, as a spirit or as source energy or whatever you believe exists before this or after this, the reason why we've come to this human life is exactly to experience that. So it's nothing wrong with it. This is just part of the gig. It's part of the game. It's part of the role that we experience as being human. So nothing wrong with it. And what I'm going to share with you here is there is a strategy and there are tools and there are ways that you can overcome every single one of your limitations when you understand the nature of limitations. And it's a beautiful discovery when you get there. So that's your limitations. And your limitations are just simply like the handbrake. Your goals and your intentions are literally the destination. Your limitations are like the handbrake. Your purpose is like the horsepower of the engine of your car. Your vision is your destination, where you're heading. And your values are like your GPS navigation system, your navigation, your turning, your left and right, which is the directions that you're going to take. So this is the metaphor, if you like, using a car, which is what we can probably all understand. These are the ingredients that are now going into orientating us towards really getting to our destination and riding in style. So let me know so far if this is resonating, because I'd like to just check in to see whether that understanding sort of matches up with your understanding. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Great. So now we've got on to number 6, which is impact. Now, your impact is, another word for impact is your skill set. Now, when I say skill set, yeah, nice one, Purnima. Glad you're loving it. Another dimension of impact would be skill set. It would be things like being productive. It would be things like being organized. This would be basically the mental dimension of life, which involves us being competent, having capabilities, us going through things like different educational curriculums. This is us upskilling ourselves for life. So this is developing the skills to be successful at life and creating tangible impact. So if you don't have skill set, well, it makes it very difficult for you to be effective in life. So this is the dimension of effectiveness. So this is a really important dimension, because even if you had all the 5 preceding elements before this, if you had purpose, vision, you were aware of your values and you were aligned with your values, you were very, very clear on your goals and intentions, and you'd move beyond your limitations. Well, now you'd still need to develop skill set. You'd still need to develop competency. You'd need to develop effectiveness to be able to perform different functions in life. So your impact now is your ability to now create tangible results in the world. So think of the previous 5 were more internal mindset factors. Your impact or your skill set, this is now where the rubber hits the road. This is now the actual tangible capacity for you to create impact in the world. So this is a really important dimension. And the word I use there is skill set, but you might look at capability or effectiveness. It's really what you can translate into tangible impact in the world. So let me know if that resonates. And now let's move on to 7, 8, and 9. Now 7, 8, and 9 are more of the deeper mindset elements of what's now required in order to create greater success. So number 7 here, we need to have a mastery of money. Another word for mastering money is having a mindset of abundance. Now, okay, nice one, Michelle. Yes, mine was writing blogs and did not trust yourself. Yes, you did your first blog with only a little help, not a lot of help. Nice one, Michelle. I love your commitment. I love your attitude of getting on with it and creating it. So money and abundance. This is something that we need to understand. Now, what I mean by this is I'm not just saying we need to be rich, we need to acquire wealth. What I'm saying here is we need to understand that money is one of these important functions in the year 2020. If you live in a modern economy, it's something you've got to understand. It's something you have to master, and it's something you've got to be really, really okay with. In order to function in this society, you have to be able to give and receive money in order to function in the economy. Now, that's not to say that you can't create a charity and you can't give away your services. That's totally fine, and that's beautiful, and I highly recommend that as well. What I mean by money and abundance is you've got to get over any stuff you've got, any limitations. You've got to get over any misunderstandings you've got about money and abundance, because that's going to prevent you from attracting it. So by understanding money and abundance, you're able to be more in flow with life, and you're able to give and receive with, I would say, with a lot more harmony with life. And that's totally fine. If you want to move more towards philanthropy and move away from money, that's absolutely fine as well. You know, there's plenty of things you can do in life that don't require money. You can go and volunteer, you can do all of that. And at the same time, if you also want to make an impact in any economy that operates on money, having money is really, really helpful. If you have a lot of money, you can throw money at things and you can solve a lot of problems. In fact, I was watching a beautiful video from Steve Irwin the other day. I'm not sure whether you guys know Steve Irwin, but he was an Australian philanthropist who was really big on saving the planet, on looking after wildlife, on really conserving this beautiful planet that we live on. And he just said, I want to get as much money as I can. He said, I want as much money as I can. You know why? Because I'm going to buy up all the land and I'm going to save all the wildlife. And I'm going to, so I really love that aspect of really seeing money as an opportunity to do good in the world and to create greater impact. So that's what I mean by understanding money and being a master of money. It doesn't mean we need to acquire it because it makes us look good. It just means that generally, if you've got more money, you can kind of do more things. So it's just about having a healthy relationship there with money. Nice one, Raj. I'm glad that clarifies it. Excellent. Not Yes, and got a comment from you, Michelle. Yes, I sure have stuff and working that stuff. Spent every bit of money from the sale of my home and just making it through. The universe provides me as I trust. Well, that is very, very true, Michelle. The universe does provide, and there's always just another level of giving and receiving in life, and money is just another one of these ways. It's another energetic avenue of giving and receiving. You know, you can receive love, you can receive health, and you can also receive abundance, and you can receive that abundance in the form of currency, which is just resources. It's just energy. It's just energy flowing through the universe. And as soon as we open ourselves up to being more receptive to receiving it, well, it just shows up. And it doesn't necessarily mean anything. In fact, I'm going to suggest money doesn't mean anything about us. The more money that anyone has, it doesn't mean that they're a better or worse human. It just means that they've attracted more currency. That's all that means. But currency is really helpful. It's really helpful because you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. Nice one, Michelle and Raj. Thank you for your comments. Okay, so number 8 is now we need to be able to master relationships. So we need to be the master of relationship. Now, relationships, what I mean by relationships is everything in life really comes down to relationships. Now, if you're in business or you want to create success in any dimension of life, it involves people. So really, if you're interacting with people, you need to be good at relationships. So your relationships are going to underpin the opportunities that you attract. They're going to underpin the clients that you work with, the quality of the experiences that you have. You're going to be able to either attract a really great aligned partner. And if you're already in a great partnership, you've obviously got to be able to maintain and sustain that. So this is the dimension of people mastery. So this is very much an emotional dimension. Money is very much I'm just going to put P there, physical dimension. And the last bit here is health, which is also, I'm going to also use the word vitality or energy. So these last 3 dimensions, money, relationships, and health, these are the foundational elements that are required for everyone to live a fully prosperous life. Because if these dimensions are missing, if you don't have health, if you don't have high quality relationships, if you don't have a healthy relationship with money, then you're not going to optimize your experience in life. You're not going to be optimizing the experience. And that's what we're shooting for here. That's my philosophy is I'm wanting to support people optimize their experience of life. Why? Well, if you have the choice of optimizing your experience and getting the most out of life and living in full alignment and full harmony, well, it's just a nicer way to ride through life. And so these are the elements that I'm going to suggest are really important. Once we get a handle on these, life goes to another level. Yeah, nice one, Michelle. I love relationship with people. Your daughter, and I've met your daughter. She's beautiful, beautiful Zoe. And absolutely, relationships are the core. I'm going to suggest relationships are the core of living a high quality life. And so Tony Robbins says that the quality of our relationships is directly proportional to the quality of our life. Relationships are the core of it. So that's an important dimension. And so what you'll start to see here is these are the 9, I call them the 9 accelerators. And when you start to tap into the 9 accelerators and you start to recognize which ones you need to tweak, you need to optimize, or which ones you want to optimize, you'll start to see that you start to really take your life to a whole nother level. So I'd love to know, after we've looked at these 9 accelerators, what is the one accelerator, or maybe the 1 or 2 accelerators that you feel you're currently missing or haven't really placed as much attention on as you really should? Now, there's no right answer here. For most people, they'll realize one of those is something that is maybe clearly missing. Some of these you might realize might be the means to get to the result that you're looking for. For example, you might realize, oh, if I tapped into my purpose and my vision, maybe that would actually create more abundance. Or for other people, they might realize, no, I'm very, very clear on my purpose and vision. I just got some money blocks right now. So if I can do some work on my money blocks, great. I've now got a finely tuned machine. So there'll be something there that stands out for you. So I encourage you to just take a moment to reflect on it. And I remind you again, there's nothing wrong with this. We're going through a process of optimization here. So don't feel like there's anything wrong with you. Everyone's got an area that they can improve in. I certainly do as well. And this is the great thing about the conversation we're having, is it's all orientated towards improvement. It's where we're literally talking about the greatest opportunity in your life right now, which is which of these dimensions is there to be optimized. Nice one, Pornima. Purpose and vision, great. Limitations and money blocks, some abundance. Yeah, nice one. Limitations and impact. So that's wherever you're at, that's fine. And it literally, it doesn't matter which one of these dimensions or any combination of dimensions. They are all the greatest opportunity for creating greater alignment in your life. Nice one. Corinna, you just said it's awesome as I'm a bit shaky on foundations and can see where I spend time dreaming without a strong foundation is going to be a struggle. Well, yeah, you're going to see that there's an opportunity here to create definitely a stronger foundation for yourself. So I'm just going to move on now to, I mentioned a little bit before about limitations. I want to give you a distinction here that's going to really support taking this conversation to a whole new level. Most people get caught up in not knowing the difference between a limitation and an excuse. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is we all have limitations. Now, obviously, this guy in the photo, he has limitations, right? We all have limitations in terms of emotional limitations. We have mental limitations. We have physical limitations. There are limitations around maybe the situation or the place that you live. You can find all sorts of limitations if you go looking for them. But those limitations, they are not fixed. All limitations, they are not fixed. A limitation is simply just a temporary, and I use the word temporary very, very deliberately. A limitation is a very temporary experience that we have where we either don't know how to move beyond it, we either don't have clarity, or we're just simply stuck in some kind of misunderstanding, or we haven't yet developed the resourcefulness, we haven't yet got access to the resources, we haven't yet developed our skill set. So to go back to this slide here, a limitation might be if you haven't optimized all of these 9 areas, well, that would just be maybe a limitation if you haven't fully activated each of those 9 areas. So that would be a limitation. Now, that's not a problem, but you could either look at those limitations and you could stand behind them and now say, well, I'm just going to stay where I am and I'm going to stay stuck. You've now taken a limitation and you've now converted it to an excuse. You've now taken a growth opportunity. You've now taken a very, very normal optimization element of life that was an opportunity for you to evolve and to grow. And you've now labeled it as, oh, no, well, that very limitation, that's the reason why I'm not going to move forward in life. Absolutely. Excuses are really, really easy. And I did them for most of my life. You know, and most people, when they come up against a limitation, it's easy to do, isn't it? You know what? It's easy because it's much easier to take our limitations and just kind of, you know, be quite passive and just kind of justify them than it is to do anything about them. And so when you're unconsciously converting your limitations to excuses, you'll be living in a world of limitation, thinking that it's fixed. You'll be living in a world where you'll just lack possibility and you won't know why. And it will just look like life is hard or difficult or you don't know how to do it. So what I'm going to invite you to consider is, what if you didn't have to have any excuses? What if every excuse that you had could get transformed? What if every excuse that you currently feel limited by became your next breakthrough? What if every limitation and every excuse that you had literally got converted to a goal, to an intention? What if every limitation and every excuse that existed in your life was the most delicious and beautiful opportunity to create optimization? And so this is my philosophy for living. Anytime I can identify either a limitation or I notice that I'm somehow stuck behind an excuse, I recognize, brilliant, here's my opportunity. Here's my opportunity to rise and go to a greater level in life. And when you can have this attitude, what you do is you move beyond your limitations. They become a game. Life goes from being this crazy roller coaster ride of fear and anxiety and worry and struggle to a beautiful challenge. And so this is a completely different way of thinking about life, when you can write a list of every single excuse or every single limitation, and you can now decide to orientate yourself in a more loving, expansive, and empowered way. Now, mind you, I'm not suggesting this is necessarily easy. For the clients that I work with, some of my clients and I, we spend the best part of 6 to 12 months together working on them, and we make significant progress. For other clients, we work together on these things in Project Limitless together, and it takes 12 weeks to break through a lot of these. But eventually, if you place enough attention and energy on your limitations and your excuses in the right way, you can literally transcend every single limitation. And so it goes from recognizing how to transform your excuses into just seeing that they are limitations, and then it goes from seeing limitations as opportunities or goals. So that's just a really, really simple way of hacking your life. You write a list of all your excuses and all your limitations, and then you just turn them all into goals. You turn them all into projects. You just say, great, I've got some work to do. Excellent. I've now got some work that's going to enrich my life. So that's the difference between limitations and excuses. So I want to distinguish for you a fundamental difference here, which is the definition of a limiting belief. The definition of a limiting belief here is just an incorrect conclusion about life. A limiting belief is just an incorrect conclusion that we've arrived at. And it's one that limits our reality. Now, we all have limiting beliefs. They're just simply assumptions, they're conclusions, and most of them are unconscious. Most of our limiting beliefs are just unconscious thought patterns that have been there for so long, we don't even know we've got them. It's literally like if you've ever driven in your car accidentally with your handbrake on and you were driving around a little bit slower, or maybe your car wouldn't even take off and you were wondering what's going on, what's wrong with my car? And then you realize the handbrake was on. Let me know if you guys have ever realized that. Well, limiting beliefs are literally like the handbrake in your life. And if you don't know that they are there, they will continue to limit you without you even knowing it, and you won't even be able to do anything about it. And it will just look like life is tough or life is difficult. And when I discovered limiting beliefs, my reality transformed, because I realized that I was just making up a whole lot of crap. I was just making up stuff. I was caught up in a world of illusion. And everyone has them. I mean, I still have them, and I'm seeing through them on a daily basis. But as soon as you can identify them and see them and move through them, you start to become more in your natural state, which is the natural state of a human, really, when we don't have any fears, is we are limitless. When we are seeing the true nature of reality, when we are tapping into our intuition, we don't have limits. You look at a child. Look at a child who's just playing so effortlessly. Even though they're struggling to walk, right? They have a physical limitation. They physically can't even move their legs or move their hands. They don't subscribe to any of these ideas about, well, I don't believe I can walk, so I'm not going to bother trying. They just go for it. And they're going to fall and keep falling over and banging their head and bumping themselves. They just keep going for it because they haven't built any limiting belief programs yet. So they're just limitless. Their nature is limitless. They're just expansive. So let me know if it resonates, where you either know kids, or maybe you've had kids, or maybe you can remember being a kid when you didn't have limitations. You were just going for it. There was no thought. There was no worry. There was no concern about, can I do this? And you're just going for it. So that's our natural state. So I'm going to suggest becoming limitless is actually just about realizing our own true nature. It's not about trying to pump ourselves up and become more than what we are. It's actually about just dissolving the misunderstandings that we've got and going back to the factory settings of the human, which is limitlessness, which is true freedom, which is a really beautiful feeling. So I'd love to know if this is resonating, whether you can see how limiting beliefs would be playing out. And I'm going to start to give you some awareness about what these limiting beliefs are, but I just want to check in to make sure this is resonating. I just want to see whether this is landing. Is this something that you can see as useful and important? Yeah, thanks, Corinna. Resonates beautifully, and I can see how stuck people can be in everyday conversations, as I can be as well. Oh, absolutely. It's easy to get stuck. It's so easy to get stuck, and that's why it's so important to be able to do work on ourselves like this. Because if we don't do work on ourselves, well, we're going to remain stuck. Beautiful, Michelle. Yes, I'm assuming you mean self-worth there. Great. And put him in. Yes, for sure. I can think of the days and moments where I feel limitless, but easy not to stay there. Yeah, absolutely. So this becomes a way of living when you integrate this and when you embody this, and it goes beyond just being some kind of intellectual concept to an embodied way of living. So that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to take concepts and embody them so that they now become automatic and they now become habits, and we now become a new functioning, highly functioning human. So that's limiting belief. Now, I also want to touch on imposter syndrome here. Now, let me know if just give me a yes or a no if you've heard of imposter syndrome before. Imposter syndrome is this sense of I'm not good enough, like I'm out of my depth. And it's okay if you haven't heard of it, but imposter syndrome is something a lot of people experience where they incorrectly assume that there is some kind of magical standard in life about needing to be at a certain level of competence or education or effectiveness or worthiness. Or it's almost like some people think that life has got some kind of standard before it will let you have something. Like, oh no, I'm not worthy of that yet. Or no, I'm not really deserving of that life. Why? Well, because I just don't believe that I am. So it's this belief system that is deeply unconscious that gets entrenched inside people. That if you don't even know that it's there, it will be playing out as this almost silent inner voice, like an inner critic that's inside of you that's preventing you from really aspiring for and creating the life of your dreams. Because there's just going to be this little mini me inside your head, which is this voice that's saying that you're not good enough. Now, if you don't know that the voice is there, but you've been listening to it, sometimes you're just listening to it and you're thinking that it's life just giving you the truth, but it's actually not. It's actually just you giving yourself some inner commentary. It's just an inner dialogue. Yeah, definitely get through it. Yeah. So this imposter syndrome, or the sense of not being enough, not good enough, if you haven't identified where this is playing out, or if you haven't seen this, or if you can see it, and if you can see that it's playing, it's something I would suggest is one of the most important things to move beyond in your lifetime. Because as soon as you move beyond that, what happens is you no longer have the excuses. You no longer have the sense of, oh, I would go for this, but I just don't think I'm good enough. And so what we start to realize is, well, we can be good enough to do anything. We can learn anything if we are willing to go on this journey of growth, and if we're willing to be resilient and trust ourselves. Well, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. There's nothing that we can't get resourceful around. There's nothing that we can't experience in life. It's all available. And the only thing that's stopping us from experiencing that is the belief that we can't experience it. So the only thing that's really stopping you from going after what you want would be your fears and your beliefs. That's pretty much it. There's only two forces that really stop you from going after what you want. It's either a fear or it's a belief that you can't have it. And they're both very, very related. So let me know if that resonates. If you can resonate with either knowing that you've got a fear of not being enough, or you just physically believe that you're just not enough, or you don't have the skill set to do it yet, and that's holding you back. Well, if you don't address that, if you don't pull out that weed in your garden, it is going to stay there and it's going to take your garden. And I'm a huge fan of helping people break through limiting beliefs. In fact, it's one of the things that I do every single day in coaching conversations with my clients. And it's so easy to do. They really are easy to break through. Nice one, Raj. Skill set lacking sounds right. So that's great. So if you know you've got skill set lacking, that would be a project. That if I don't have the skill set, great. My next project is develop the skill set. So it's not that I'm not good enough. It's just that right now I haven't acquired the skill in this moment. So that would be an opportunity for great. I'm on a journey of acquiring the skill. I can acquire the skill. I'm good enough to acquire the skill. It's just a journey that's going to take some time and some patience and maybe some resourcefulness. Maybe I need to get some coaching. Maybe I need to hang out with a different community. So there's a project within a project. So I'm glad that resonates, Purnima. Great to clarify. So here's some examples of limitations and limiting beliefs. right? Now, this was an example of the last intake of Project Limitless. So these are some of the beliefs that came up. And in Project Limitless, we elicit everyone's major limiting beliefs. So we go through this process in depth over 12 weeks, and we help people dig into every single limitation that they can imagine. So you can imagine if we spend 12 weeks uncovering all of your goals, getting clear on, and mind you, that's what we do. We get clear on all the 9 accelerators. So we work on all those 9 dimensions, and we work on them consecutively, powerfully, every single day for 12 weeks to break through all of these, to radically accelerate, your alignment with your ikigai and getting you on track. So these are the examples that came out of our last class, and these are all very normal. It's too hard to keep finding new clients. If you're in a new business, or if you're a coach, or you're wanting to attract new clients, it's too hard to find new clients. And that's a common limitation. I have no real new ideas. I'm not smart enough. I don't have time. I'm always too tired. I have way too much work to do. I can't save money. I don't have the money to outsource the help that I need. I can't charge what I want. So let me know if there's any of these limiting beliefs that you can either resonate with, or have had in the past, or people that have, or you could definitely appreciate that someone in life has them. You might have these exact ones. And if you do, then that's totally fine as well, because they're just beliefs. So there's nothing wrong with them. They're just temporary thought patterns that get corrected. Yes, I've had all of them. I've had most of them as well. And the beautiful thing is, once we've all worked through them, once you purge them, once you correct them, you move beyond them and you forget about them. It's literally like you get to a point where you forget them, and it's literally like an old newspaper. It's old news. It's not relevant anymore. So you can move beyond every single one of your beliefs. So I just wanted to give you a list of some of these beliefs, just so you've got a reference point to know that there might be some that you've got in your life. And the great news about limitations and limiting beliefs is, as soon as you become aware of them, you can clear them. And that's what we do in Project Limitless, is we elicit them and then we clear them. And the way that you elicit them is using a process that I've created called the breakthrough method. Now, the breakthrough method is really simple. It's got 3 steps. You identify your goal or your intention or your vision or whatever you want to create. So step 1 is getting clear on what you want to create. Once you've gotten clear on what you want to create for your life or for your business or for your relationships, so we're going to every dimension of your life, so health, relationships, finance, wherever you're living, your hobbies, your passions, all those aspects, your finances. So we get clear on all of the dimensions that you want to optimize in life. So you get clear on your goals. Step 2 is then you identify what's holding you back. What's stopping you? What are the invisible handbrakes that are stopping you from getting and creating that goal? What is preventing you from fully embracing and engaging with manifesting and creating all of that? So we get really clear on what's your limiting beliefs and what your limitations are. So that's step 2. Step 3 is we then dissolve them. So we literally take you through a process where we literally dissolve them. We literally go through a coaching process where you ask a series of questions. We go through a series of frameworks, and we go through a series of modules where you actually dissolve the belief. And what happens is, once you've become aware of it, you can then shift it. And then afterwards, it has less relevance. And in some cases, it's completely gone and there's absolutely zero. It has zero relevance, or it's either completely shifted, or potentially the belief is kind of still there in some capacity, but it doesn't really affect you anymore, because you're now more connected and you're more driven by your purpose and your vision, and you're more engaged in life, that you have less worry about the beliefs, right? So when you're fully connected, when you're fully inspired, you forget about your beliefs. You really tap into a limitless, there's limitlessness that you tap into, which means you go beyond belief. And so that's what we're really pointing to here in what we do with Project Limitless, is we're going to the state of limitlessness. So that's how we do it. So I'm going to take you through an example right now for all of you. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a mini breakthrough, a little bit of an awareness exercise for what your limiting beliefs are right now. So I want you to each pick what's an area of your life that you feel like is probably one of the most important areas of your life right now to work on. Now, that could be your finances, your health, your career, business, finances, relationship, or social life. So just pick a dimension and just type it in there. And this is the first step, is just getting clear on what's the dimension What's the dimension of life that you would like to enhance? So we got finances, health, yeah, finances. Whatever you've got, I now want you to reflect on, great, so if you could have that dimension exactly the way that you wanted it to, right? What you would actually do is you would actually write some kind of statement. You know, I want to have, like if it was finances, you might say, like, let's just do an example here. Let's say if it was finances. You would then say, okay, great. So I've picked finances. So what do I want in finances? Is it I want more money? Is that I want to charge more for my services? Is it that I want to be able to save more money? So you've got to get clear on, well, what does that mean? Like you've got to make that more tangible, because to just leave it in the context of, well, I just want better finances, it's not specific enough. Whereas if you want to say, I want to have a 6-figure business working 3 days a week, 3 days a week, 3 days per week, you can now start to create a structure for eliciting your limiting beliefs. So this is step 2. So what you want to do now is you want to write in, I want to have blank, and you'll put in whatever the specific tangible area of improvement you want to make. Now that could be, I want to have a beautiful, loving relationship, or it could be, I want to earn a 6-figure business. I want to go away traveling for 3 months a year. I want to insert whatever it is you want. So that first section here, this first bit right here, that's the bit that you're going to fill in right now. So just drop in, what is it that you want to have? Just notice, what is it that you want to have? And once you've worked out what you want to have, you want to then just put in, well, what's the limitation? So now you say, great, but something's preventing me from getting that. So for example, it could be, I want to have a 6-figure business, but I'm not smart enough. I used to have that one. That was a belief that I had. I'm not smart enough, or I'm too lazy, or I don't deserve it, or, I am not a nice person, or I'm just not worthy of that success. So you'll come up with something there that is going to be a limitation or a limiting belief. And so whatever comes up for you, that's fine. That just is the next project to work on. That's just the thing to now plug into the rest of the system to dissolve and to purge the limiting belief. So this is the structure for how you take all of your limitations, all your excuses, and you can then convert them into your life's most important projects. And so when we do this consecutively for every single limitation that you've got, all the major limitations in each of the major dimensions of your life over the course of 12 weeks, well, you can imagine, you start to become more limitless, and you start to now create the success in your life that you are looking for. So let me know if this structure resonates, and let me know if there's anything that stands out to you as being anything that's coming through for you. Now, you might have clarity around a goal here, and you're now starting to get clear on, what's that limitation? Is it you're not smart enough? Maybe it's you don't know how to do it. Maybe it's you don't feel like you have the support to do it. Maybe you feel like you don't have time, or you don't have energy. Whatever it is for you, that would just be the next project. Yeah. And Michelle, that's okay. The energy is a bit heavy. What we're looking at here is we're looking at getting radically honest. We're looking at just honesty. Because as soon as you can be just honest with yourself, that is the doorway to transformation. If you don't have honesty with yourself, then you won't actually acknowledge all the little opportunities to improve. Yeah. No direction. Don't know how to do it. So that's fine. So I just want to show you how simple this is. So, but no direction. So that would be, okay, great. Having no direction is not there's not the thing that's stopping you. No direction would become the project. Great. My project is get direction. So it's not a reason to not do anything. That would just be the next stepping stone would be to get direction. And same with don't know how to do it. Don't know how to do it, right? That would be great. The next project is figure out how to do it. So it's really quite simple. You're just literally taking every single one of your limitations, creating projects, getting supported around that, and then working through the rest of these 9 dimensions here to then optimize each of these 9 dimensions in each of the areas of your life: relationships, finances, health, career. And so you'll see that this nine accelerator matrix, it applies to every single dimension of life. So you can now apply each of these 9 dimensions to your health, to your relationships, to finances, to career, to business. So you can now apply these, and you can now optimize and upgrade every part of your life. So that's how we do it. And it's a system. It's a process. It is a scientific, very, very logical, but also highly emotionally engaged process that creates transformation. And so that's how the whole process works. So that is the breakthrough method, and we don't have time to go through the full breakthrough method now, because obviously that would be 12 weeks of breakthrough. But you get the point. This is the step 1, 2, 3, and to kind of finish off, because I know we're getting towards the end of the class today. This is one of my favorite movies. Let me know if you guys have seen the movie The Matrix, and this is the scene in The Matrix where Neo he gets downloaded with a whole heap of programs. And this is the scene where he says, "Oh, I know Kung Fu." And he literally has an installation. He has an installation that happens. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, which is mental installations. That's one of the things that I cover in Project Limitless, which is how do you take a concept or an idea and how do you install it in your operating system so that it now becomes an automatic unconscious program. And so when you have these installations that sink in, and when you get these installations, the transformation is instantaneous, and it like dissolves your limiting beliefs and that sort of thing. So yeah, nice one, Michelle. It's an awesome film. And thank you for joining us. So that is installation. So that's something that we also covered. I just wanted to touch on briefly, which I think is really, really cool. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in for the class. As mentioned, Project Limitless, that is the 12-week program where we dive into all of this in incredible depth, where we go through all of these 9 accelerators. We take you through really getting clear on what is your passion, your purpose, what's the skill set, what's the way you can make a contribution in the world, mastering the dimensions of money, of relationship, and really getting clear on your health and your vitality. And at the end of it, yeah, you're able to orientate yourself more towards the center of the Ikigai. So if this resonates with you and you want to find out more, yeah, drop me a message. Just send me a message, send me an email. Also feel free to visit feel free to jump on, and there's a link here that I can pop into the chat there for you. So that's a link. Just click the link and it has all the information there about the next intake of Project Limitless. It kicks off next Wednesday. So it starts in a week from now. So yeah, if it resonates with you, if you want to find out more information, yeah, just send me an email and I'm happy to share more about that. So that's it for today, guys. So thank you for tuning in. I'd love to know if there's any insights. Feel free to drop in any insights or realizations or anything that was helpful from today, whether it be something that you saw at a deeper level, something that you could see as an opportunity. Yeah, let me know if there's anything. Yeah, just drop a comment to let me know if there's something there that really resonated with you could see was a deeper level of mastery that's available for you. I'd love to know if there was something there that was particularly helpful. So thank you all for joining in today. It was an absolute pleasure to share the 9 accelerators and the limiting belief, limitation, acceleration process with you. And I look forward to catching up with you guys at some point also. I know there's a lot of you that have been through my programs before. Karina, Heidi, Michelle, you've been to my retreats before. Yeah, thank you all, guys. Thanks, Pornima. Excellent. Thank you so much. Great to see that you're going to catch up with Kai to chat about the Genesis. Absolutely. Project Genesis, that is a powerful program. So yeah, I think you'd really dig that one. Awesome. All right, well, that's it for today, guys. If you want to stick around and ask me any questions about anything that we've covered today or Project Limitless, I'm happy to stick on the call for as long as it takes to answer questions. There's no pressure to hang out, but if you wanted to ask me any questions, I'm happy to stick on the line for as long as required to answer your questions. So anything that comes up, guys, feel free to drop in a comment. One of the questions that people usually want to know is, what's the level of involvement in Project Limitless? Like how much time is involved? I generally recommend that you allow for probably 15 minutes a day of application in Project Limitless. So you're typically allowing for about 2 to 3 hours a week in terms of application time. You also get paired up with an accountability buddy. That's the other aspect of the program, is you get paired up with someone else where you can be accountable to them. We have weekly classes as well, which is the weekly master classes are every Wednesday at 12:30 Bali time. So that's the weekly classes that we have every single week for 90 minutes. We've got a live class where we're going through content, and then you have home play. You have activities that you do in between where you integrate the learnings, where you can embody the learnings. You have exercises. You have your very own education portal where all the content gets uploaded. You have a community of support members inside the community, inside a Facebook group. So you have full accountability, you have full support. You've got access to me. You've got access to asking questions for the whole 12 weeks. And at the end of the 12 weeks, you come out an entirely different human. You come out of Project Limitless as a different person. Yeah, it starts next Wednesday. So it's 1 week away. Is the first class. That's correct, Paul Emmett. So it starts next Wednesday. What was that installation called? So it was called Mental Installations, Heidi. Mental installations are where we go deeper into the source code, where we go through teaching an installation whereby it corrects a whole lot of misunderstandings. It corrects a whole lot of deeper limiting beliefs. So it's kind of like it's almost like a software update that you load onto your computer that corrects any bugs and fixes. So an installation is it's a higher level educational program that you can install, which deactivates beliefs and erases beliefs. So I trust that answers that one, Heidi. Corinna, I'd love to revisit. Do we still have access to Project Limitless units? Yes, Corinna, you still have access to Project Limitless. So you can log in to your account and you'll still see all of the units that are still there. But if you wanted to do the latest Project Limitless, you can come through that as well. But that'd be a new program. So let me know if you wanted to come through and do the new version of Project Limitless. Yeah, that's new. Absolutely, Heidi. Mental installations is something that I've been working on and developing since the last Project Limitless. So this is new. It's new technology that I've been developing. G'day, Jan. Yeah, a little bit late. All good. We'll have the replay here, so you can check out the replay as well. Excellent. Yeah, go back into Project Limitless, Corinna. It's always worth going back through it. There was 12 powerful weeks. So you've obviously there's the Facebook group that's still there, and all the different 12-week modules, they're all still there in your online portal. So you've got access to all of that. So go back and make the most use of it. And always let me know if there's any questions. Obviously you've got lifetime support from me as part of doing the program as well. So let me know if you've got any questions that come up from that. Nice one, Punema. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, it's been great having you here. Thanks, Heidi. Great to have you here as well. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your participation. I love your enthusiasm. You're amazing. You're a go-getter. You really do just take things and apply it. So thank you for your enthusiasm, Heidi. And thank you, Corinna. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, nice one. Oh, look, yeah, Corinna, overwhelm, it happens from time to time. It's just one of those things. It sometimes happens. It sometimes happens. And it's a very, very normal part of life. So don't worry about that. It's not nothing wrong with you. That would just be one of the limitations to move through. So thank you all for joining. Let me know if there's any other questions. I'll be able to stick around for another couple of minutes and answer any questions. Yeah, Project Limitless as well. So it does kick off on Wednesday. So if you are curious to find out more, yeah, check out the website. I'll drop in. There's the link again for you if you want to take a look at Project Limitless. Check it out. Take a look if it resonates. Yeah, let's chat. Send me a message. Happy to find out if you're a fit. We can always jump on a call to see if it's something that is going to suit you and if it's something that's going to be in alignment with what you're looking for. Thank you, Corinna. Yeah, good to have you back. Good to see you. Wishing you all the best. Yeah, thank you, Heidi. It's a pleasure to support you, Heidi. It's what I do. So thank you. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. I'll finish up there unless there's any more questions. Yeah, as I said, all the recordings for Project Limitless, they are uploaded in your portal. So even if you can't make any of the live classes, you have access to all of those, and you've got access to those for life. And yeah, we also have a complete guarantee. There's a full money back guarantee on Project Limitless. So if for whatever reason you feel like you didn't get value, and if you didn't get what you hoped you would get, well, there is absolutely no risk. We've completely de-risked it. If you don't get the value that you expected, we give you all your money back, absolutely guaranteed, without any questions asked. So that's how confident we are in the value and the structure and the design of this transformational program. So there we go. Excellent. Yes, Heidi. Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can invite anyone you like to do Project Limitless. So yeah, if you just send them the link and they can check it out. And if you know that someone in particular is a good fit, feel free to send me a message introducing us, and I'm happy to have a conversation with them as well to help them see if it's something that's right for them. Great. Well, that's it for today, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. It was a pleasure to share this with you. And I look forward to chatting to anyone here who wants to check out Project Limitless. Looking forward to speaking to you all soon. Much love. Bye for now.